references and total ridiculousness. And I guess people like it well enough, but that is my style of thing. Like I'd rather, obviously I want information, but there's a way to present information in a way that's accessible and fun.
A lot of the people that we're bringing up on here, whether it's a writer, a blogger, someone that works for a brand, social media and just technology in general has made so many things possible that 20 years ago just wouldn't have happened. So whether it's meeting somebody, interacting with somebody, meeting a new friend, is there some experience you've had through social media, through Twitter, through anything really, that has sort of been that sort of formative, wow, like my life is totally different because of this platform?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've made so many, this is slightly aside from my job, but I've made so many friends as a result of this thing. A lot of them are in my industry, but some of them are not. It's just, we just start tweeting and have a good conversation or whatever, and it's great. Like, I'm very happily married, but like if you were single in this industry, I'm sure there's other ways to leverage this technology too. So, yeah, I just think it's awesome the way that people can connect that way. And there was a little bit, I'm old enough to remember that there was a real stigma to anything, message boards or whatever. Like, are you gonna make this person in real life? They're a crazy person. And now everything is so out in the open. Like, if I see you on Twitter, it's like, okay, your picture, I know what you do, I have a feel for you. It's like, yeah, I'll have a beer with that guy. Seems like a cool guy, that's fine. In a way that didn't exist before. And I think that's great. I think that to get it slightly existential, life can be isolating. You've got your thing, you've got your job, you're doing this, you're catching up with this and whatever, and it's a lot, and you've got your own stuff going on, and sometimes it's nice to, obviously to the people that you grew up with and people you're close with, that's great, but sometimes it's just like, I can go get a beer with this person who I only know through urine, and that's great. And I've made a ton of friends that way, and I think it's been fascinating, and it connects people too. What ends up happening inevitably is I try to connect people. They say, we become friends, and they say, I'm working on a book. It's like, I've written a book, you should go talk to this person. And it's like, that's cool. And then I say, I want good pizza in Kansas City. And they say, oh, well, don't go to pizza, go to barbecue, you stupid idiot. And then whatever, we work it out that way. But like, having those kinds of exchanges, there's kind of a professional benefit and a personal benefit that I really try to take advantage of.
Yeah, so much of actually what we put together here is through social media, reaching out to you over Twitter.
I didn't know you.
Yeah, no.
It was great.
Yeah, interacting with...
It wasn't long ago either. Yeah. Just like, you're going to South by, come on down. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it's really about, creating these connections, and whether it's Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Paranoid Fan now.
Paranoid Fan.
It's really amazing just how many different ways you can build these connections. Before we, and you kind of touched on the robot umpire, so I'm going to take that one away from you.
Sure.
I make you commissioner for a day. What's the one change you make to baseball?
Aside from baseball in Montreal?
Aside from baseball in Montreal. I thought I would love to see a season played with aluminum bats.
Wow, that's so cool!
I'm not sure Brandon McCarthy would like that so much.
Pitchers can get injured, actually, in all seriousness, so the exit velocity of the ball would be unbelievable.
I've had balls coming, I've had...
Did you pitch?
I pitched, so I had...
Right, you were saying there's three.
Rockets coming back at me off those old pre-BB core metal bats, so I know how dangerous it could be.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to see Giancarlo or Bryce hit with an aluminum bat.
Wow. By the way, I played basketball my whole life. I'm not the worst athlete in the world for a Canadian Jew, but man, did I suck at baseball. Sucked! Played 1 year, terrible. Yeah, like when people say, oh, you haven't been in the clubhouse, why should I take you seriously? Like, I'm the guy, definitely. So, one change. That's interesting. I'm a big fan of little structural things. It really bothers me that there's interleague every day. And so, okay, leaving Montreal aside, expand the league by 2, which is great, the industry's growing anyway, and it's good to have new cities, and then just don't have interleague anymore. I'd go back to the old days. And I might even do away with divisions in a way, because teams can make a playoffs and have 87 wins or whatever. Just be like, here's the whole league, here are the teams you have to beat, top 4 make it. So it would be, yeah, your thing is more creative and fun. I'm thinking just in terms of fair,
competitive fairness.
Yeah, competitive fairness is a big thing for me. That goes to the umpiring stuff too, by the way. Yeah, it's supposed to all even out, but what happens if it happens in Game 7 of the World Series? It's just not reasonable to me. That's all it is, because I really do like the game. Baseball and basketball are 1 and 1A for me. I love them both. And I just feel like basketball, in some ways, can be easier to adapt. Baseball has so many traditions, which, by the way, are worth preserving, but there are some that are not worth preserving, and they kind of get lumped together in the mix. And it can make baseball fall behind slightly from an innovative standpoint and from a thinking outside the box standpoint. The NBA, I don't think this is really going to happen, but I know for a fact that there are people with influence who at least had a passing conversation about a 4-point shot, which is like jock jams, like insane Dan Cortez stuff. And I don't think it's really going to happen. Shout out to Dan Cortez. But at least, that's a weird, crazy conversation like aluminum bats, and I like that people have crazy conversations because sometimes that can become the norm. You start off with something way out there, it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting this. I mean, the DH wasn't a thing, and then it was.
It's really coming away from, what's the tradition been to, if I was designing this game today, what would it have?
Right. And that's a great question, like, in the NBA, like, okay, the rims are 10 feet. Well, the rims were 10 feet when it was like a bunch of 6-foot people from Queens playing basketball. It changed a lot. Maybe it should be 11 feet. Maybe the three-point line should be further.
That's long my theory about football, is that the football field hasn't changed in size, and the players have got twice as fast and twice as strong.
Yeah.
And really,
hockey, my God. Hockey's really close quarters. These guys are unbelievably talented. They weigh 230 pounds. People get killed. It's for real. I think that those things can be changed, and but that's a tough go. When you change the size of the playing field, that's kind of elemental to the game. And it takes some universality to vote on something like that. But sure, I wonder if you started over, if things would be different. I mean, football's a great one actually, because like even the number of players on the field, and I'm from Canada, so I'm used to the CFL as well. The CFL, you can move before the play starts, like a wide receiver can get a running start. That's awesome. The NFL should totally have that. Why do you have to sit there and like wait and the guy can chuck you 5 yards off the line of scrimmage? This would like enhance offense and it'd be cool and fun. And if I was starting football, I would definitely do that. I mean, I think the NFL is a fine product, but there are a couple of things that the CFL might do better. I don't know, baseball, it could be that way too, where it works out differently in different places. I will say one thing I like about baseball is that it doesn't have a uniform playing field. Fenway Park is very different than Petco Park. That's kind of cool, actually, and not something that other sports have. Would that be the thing that would be a universal standard where there is no standard? If we started over, if you played in Utah, would that be a different size court than in Boston? I don't know, that's maybe something for debate too.
How do you consume games? I find that over the last few years, especially with MLB TV, you can watch a condensed game in 15 minutes. It's really changed a lot, and so much of enjoying a game now is not just watching the pitch by pitch, but having Twitter open at the same time, unless John Heyman's going to spoil it into the World Series for you like he did for me.
He's nice.
How is the way that you consume games changed?
I have to work around my family is the short answer. I have twins actually, and that's a handful. And so during the week, I honestly almost always watch West Coast games because it's just like they go to bed at 8. Okay, the Oakland A's are coming on. I watch a lot of Oakland A's baseball. On the weekend, do we hate the A's? Right, well you. Okay, I watch a lot of, I don't know, San Diego Padres. Is that okay? Nobody hates the Padres. Diamondbacks, Rockies, whatever. And so I do that, and then on Sundays my big writing day. I have a Monday column every day throughout the year, so Sunday I kind of buzz off and I just go post up in my office, and then I watch everything. And I never watch condensed games. I know that's a good tool. I use MLB TV as a way to, I like writing while having a game on. I find that there's something that works, that triggers the brain a little bit, but I'm also consuming the game, then I can kind of flip around. So I'm treating it the way, like I turn on at 11 Mountain Time in the morning, and start watching all the games and writing on my column. That's how I do it. And same thing during the week if I'm watching a game that's like that. So I don't like condensed games because at that point I can kind of read the box score and figure out what's going on. I'd rather have kind of the feel of the game, and then you pick up on little things like, oh, the umpire really did botch this 1-1 call, which turned into 2-1, which turned into 3-1, then Stanton did a 3-run home run. That was the game. So I like the nuance, and I like looking at the full games, and I like flipping around, and I like the variety. I mean, it's such a, again, this is not that long ago that you didn't have this. I grew up in Canada. I couldn't just watch random Houston Astros games, and now I can if I want to. That's great.
I mean, it's an event. I wanted into doing anything at Pecora, but I know at my past job, when Strasburg did I spent that whole afternoon watching the game on my computer.
And are you a Nationals fan? No, but that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's really cool, and we almost take it for granted at this point. There's an NBA League Pass and NHL Center Ice and all that, obviously football, but that's pretty new still, and I'm still pretty jazzed up about the whole thing.
and I think they're going to get rid of the blackout rules soon. So.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. I guess it's North Carolina and Iowa if you live in either of those states. In North Carolina, you're blacked out of 6 teams. Like, I think the Braves definitely and the Nationals, but maybe even the Cardinals or something? What's that? Yeah, and Iowa's like Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, Royals, like every Midwest team is like,
Why would you?
no, I'm living in Iowa, doing my thing in Des Moines, I can't watch any baseball, it's ridiculous.
Or you're a Giants fan living in San Francisco and you're not near TV, you can't watch the Giants.
Well, the Dodgers fans can't watch TV, period, because they can't come to an agreement with Time Warner. That's a whole separate issue. But yeah, this is a real thing, and again, I think it just comes down to more people should have access to watch whatever. If I want to watch Game of Thrones or whatever, I can watch it in any form. I can have it beamed into my face on the satellite or wherever I want. I can do anything I want. And yeah, sports, in some ways, we're almost there, but we're not fully there.
I want to bring some of the audience in here with some questions. I know people have been shouting some things out. We've got some time, so anybody out there with anything they want to ask? Right here.
I'm trying to do 2 quick. One at Grantland, you usually fix the stories and you use the choose, but they